What's up, guys? Welcome to SoCal Fishing Forecast for Thursday, September 24th. Man, this weather's starting to look good again. Nice and hot, sunny. Looks like we're going to be in the 80s and even up to 90 next week. So a little high pressure system moving in this weekend, and it's going to be nice. Let's take a look at the wind chart. We still got this little tropical deal happening off Mexico. Not quite a hurricane, but not quite a depression either. So just kind of in the middle, making some waves, some wind. But let's dive in and take a look at this wind pattern we got coming up here for this week. So here is Thursday morning, continued offshore flow on the outside, coming on shore with a little bit of eddy. And as you can tell, we got some high winds out here, still in the 20s. And this is Thursday evening. So you're going to have a little bit of that eddy flow just overnight into Friday. There's that eddy flow again coming around the back of Clemente, flowing up. And still heavy winds outside Friday. Saturday, things take a change offshore. Look at that. Water is cleaning up. Winds are light through Sunday. This is that perfect September-October weather we're looking for. And as you can tell, this wind stays flat for quite some time. So if you're looking for a chance to chase those tuna on the top water, you're going to have excellent conditions to be glassing these fish starting Saturday. And it kind of fades away as the week goes on, but too far out to tell past Tuesday. So keep that in mind if you're thinking about getting out in the water this weekend. You've got a good chance at spotting those patties and looking for a surface signal. So here's the inshore waters that we're talking about. Seems to be a little bit more manageable this week. So you're going to be looking at this west swell. It's 2 feet at 8 seconds, south swell, and that's from that storm that we're talking about, 3 to 4 feet at 11 seconds. This so much isn't a factor, but they do cross up from time to time, and could still be a little bit of a machine out there, but it's mainly long period. Now, if you're on the outside behind Clemente, I want you to take a little bit closer look at this. We got 15 knot winds plus. And then if you look at, let's say Friday night, 3 to 6 feet at 15 seconds and 2 feet at 13 seconds. So definitely ramping up on the height. And something I would be, just keep a close eye on. Like I said, most of this wind drops off on Thursday into Friday. So this west, 3 to 5, 8 seconds, that might be concerning. So mainly, I mean, if you're really looking to go behind the island, Saturday and forward is going to be where you're going to be looking for anyway. On top of that, the island schedule. Friday looking pretty busy behind the island anyway. These areas are open. C and D are open for anchorage, so 1400 to 1800. So basically, these are just midday action. So you can still anchor in Pyramid Cove. Looks like Friday, except for, let's check this one. Yeah, so Friday night you're good to anchor. Saturday night you're good to anchor. And Sunday, the island's open all around. So keep those things in mind. And always check the schedule ahead of time. They do like to change, and they will kick you out. So keep that in mind. Let's talk the charts, man. Water temps still up there, and looking healthy, which is good. I was a little concerned with some of this La Nina talk and this wind that we've had, but now it's going to chill out. Looks like these water temps can hang around for a little while, and that would be nice. I got out last weekend on Sunday, day-and-a-half trip. Went pretty well. We made a decision that we were going to target the big boys. And ended up ditching that plan about halfway through just because of tough conditions and really lack of signal. so it didn't make sense to stick that out. But we anchored in Pyramid for a little bit, popped over to 381, which looked really fishy. There's birds up all morning, flying low, tucking low, but it was that 6 to 8 foot wind swell and 15 knots of wind on top, lots of whitecaps. So things are really hard to spot other than the bird activity. And we took a look all the way down to the Condon Bank, and it was pretty much dead over here, guys. This whole area was nothing to see. We did get called into a patty that was marked near the West Butterfly. And by a patty, I mean it was like the size of a trash can. There really wasn't much on it, but it was loaded. Started off with Dorado bite with some yellowtail mixed in, then faded to skipjack, and then faded to yellowfin that just stuck with the boat for 45 minutes. So he took a pass on about 3 times. I myself got 3 Dorado, 7 yellowfin, handful of skippies, and small yellowtail I tossed back. So yellowfin were smaller in size, and this has kind of been the offshore topic, especially in the Mexican waters. But these yellowfin, it's the late season football size. They're not very big. Dorado, 2 to 4 pounds to 12 pounds. So you kind of hit or miss on the Dorado, whether you wanted to keep them or they were worth killing. But trying to keep the bigger ones. Yellowtail, I tossed them all back there. Way too small, like 2-pound chucks. So tossed them all back. Skipjack, not my thing to keep. Just my own personal preference, but if you do bleed them well, you can definitely eat them or cook them up for your cat if you got a cat or something. Let's talk coastal waters. Newport. Not a whole lot of action other than a couple bites on the swordfish right outside the harbor, that 3-mile ledge zone. I don't know if anybody successfully landed one, but I think there was 3 bites on Monday or Tuesday. So that's pretty rad. Hopefully that picks up again. There was also some tuna spotted on the way back outside of the rigs. But I really think you're just looking at, this temp break here on the way back from Catalina to Newport. They happen to see some tuna that were up. I wouldn't say that there's a whole lot of volume here, but they're there. Marlin fishing has been pretty solid East End and also for the Avalon Bank. And lately, if you've ever fished the 267, 279, I tend to find the south end is really fishy most of the time. And if you could take a straight line from there to Box Canyon and kind of follow that line, that seems to be pretty fishy, at least in my experience. But there's been some marlin picked up in this area too. So if you're looking for the marlin, that's where I would be looking. Now, as far as Catalina goes, the island has pretty much been the typical show all summer. Lots of bonito, bass fishing's pretty solid, barracuda here and there, and some yellows. Lately, there's been some smaller grade yellows that moved in that like 3 to 6 pounders. So you never know what you're going to get there, but the usual spots on the east end and the back side and a little bit on the west end and the front side have been working. So if Catalina is your game, that's what you're in for. And like usual, you can always spot or try and track down these yellows by slow trolling mackerel or sardines. Let's talk about San Clemente Island. There's still yellows on the front side. And to be honest, no one is really paying attention to these fish. They're there. They're around China Point lately, the 20 to 35 pounders. No one is really fishing for them because the bluefin is the talk of the town. So if you get bored or you get tired of looking for bluefin, make sure you stop by and check out the yellowtail. Also, while we're here talking about San Clemente Island, the mackerel bank, for those of you that are familiar with it, mackerel bank has had a ton of yellowfin on it, and the seiners have been wrapping it up. Now, I was told these are on average 30-pound fish on the mackerel bank. However, they did wrap up 150-pounder, so that's pretty wild. 2020, you never know. So yeah, I've seen or heard that these fish are within a half mile of the island. So if you're fishing for yellows, be sure to be looking over your shoulder to see if you see some fish pop up on the surface. And you never know. That's happened to me before. I've had those bluefins sneak up on us when we're fishing for yellows, and they'll be out there. So make sure you take a look at that. So I'm going to talk about this area right here, and I'll just basically draw a triangle from the 289 to Pyramid Cove to the 43. This area is usually fishy, and the reason why is because you have the Davison Current and the California Current come together, and you get a lot of upwelling right here, which brings baitfish, which brings predators. And lately, there's been Dorado, Yellowtail, Bluefin, Yellowfin, all kind of mixed up in this area. So that's what's there. Be on the lookout if you're cruising to Pyramid Cove. Make sure you slow down. I'd say from the 239, or I'm sorry, from the 289 all the way to Pyramid. Slow down. Make sure you're taking a look around. This spot works for me. Works for a lot of people. So don't drive past fish to find fish when they're right underneath you. And like what I mentioned, these fish that we had found off the West Butterfly just by chance. This area, I would not be fishing it. It would look dead to me. I didn't see any action, no birds, no nothing, but just this one kelp was holding, and that was it. And I didn't see any other patties. Not that the sea state was helpful in spotting patties, but I would not be targeting this area myself again. It just was a random by chance thing. But these fish that I'm talking about, the yellowfin, yellowtail, skipjack, dorado, they're all kind of hanging together in these lower waters right here, and most of them are smaller fish. So if you're looking for a 30-pound yellow, you're not going to find it on a patty, unfortunately, or a giant dorado. These are smaller fish. Same with the skipjacks. Skipjacks actually fought harder than most of the yellowfin, so still fun to catch. Throw them all back, but you know. So we talked about this triangle. That's what's happening there. The bluefin, while we're here, 381. Seems to be the hot spot last couple days. They are pretty much a no-show in the mornings. You're not going to see them until late afternoon. Although some were caught and hooked, don't be surprised if you don't see them all morning. So, you know, if the island's open on Saturday, maybe go fish yellowtail in the morning, and then try and do the bluefin dance in the evening. Let's talk about the other areas. Coronado Islands. As you can tell, the water temps have dropped 65, 67 degrees. It's actually a little bit on the dirty side. These got looked at a little bit the last couple days. Most people did not find yellowtail. Everything else is there, but yellowtail didn't really want to bite. They have been in the middle zone lately, but like I said, a lot more looking around, and maybe they'll get picked up, but as of right now, conditions don't really look good for the Coronados. Other coastal fishing I forgot to mention, Salt Creek. There's been a pop-up of some 3 to 6 pound yellowtail. Just FYI, not the ones that I would be keeping, although they are legal. There's been some 3 to 6 pound yellowtail popping up in front of Salt Creek. So if you feel not going far but want to show the young kids some fun, you got a chance at doing that as well. Now, as far as the lower offshore fishing goes, basically from the 302, 371, 425, this area, it's been trafficked most of the year already, but it's still hitting that smaller fish that we talked about. There's another zone of it with a lot more volume of fish, but basically from the upper 500 to the lower 500, this zone, if you could draw a line along these areas, same grade of fish, a lot more volume, and a lot less boat traffic. So those are the areas you can be taking a look at. There was a few boats out at Cortez fishing the yellowtail. That's a long ways for a private boater, but if you're really desperate for some yellowtail and St. Clair Island's not working out for you, Cortez on the high spot at Bishop Rock, 9 fathom spot, they're there, and they have been for most of the year. So, like I said, you got these late fall conditions are going to help glass the waters off. So keep your eyes open. If you don't already have a nice set of gyros or binoculars, make sure you bring out with you on the water, pick some up or borrow some, whatever you got to do. The birds and your eyes are going to be the best fish finder, especially this weekend. Another little tactic that we used this week when we were fishing for those bluefin was a little backpack flyer. And I'll drop a picture in right here so you can see what I'm talking about. But this is another way to fish a flyer without using helium. You just strap a piece of, this is pipe insulation that you would use for like a water heater. You cut it, zip tie it to your flying fish, and you could drag these things way behind the boat, just like you would if you're on a kite, and they'll float and have a nice presentation. So spend a little time rigging it. Extra foam towards the head, keep the head up to keep the wings from diving out of the water, and you can kind of drift these things at the same time as you fly a kite, if that's what you're looking to do. But you saw it, another way to rig it than the usual helium deal or a kite deal. So keep your options open, and I'll post a picture of it on our Instagram. Also, Chasing Pelagics is our account. But have a great weekend on the water, and please give us a like, a follow, subscribe, share. You know the song and dance. We really appreciate it. Trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark this year. And we'll see you soon. Cheers.